my name is Janae Gerard, and I'm author of Off the Rack, and I'm also the creator of Beyond the Booby Trap. And I'm here with Dr. Michelle Robin, and she's the author of the book Wellness on a Shoestring. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. One of the great things in your book, and it's just fascinating to me, the topic of freeing up your space. And when I started reading that in your book, it was really a great reminder to me about coming into the new year and some of the things that I'm trying to achieve. And so I was hoping that you could address the different factors of freeing your space, because it's not just really an environmental problem. So I was hoping you could address that for our group and how it might benefit them.
Well, I love Free Your Space chapter. It's my favorite chapter in the book, and it's really what helped me heal in my own journey. And a lot of times people think about the space as the place they live, or their car, or their desk, and they think about the physical aspect of it. And so the physicalness is thinking about all the stuff you have that no longer serves you, and that could be gifted to somebody else who it may serve very nicely. And a lot of times we will clutter up our life with lots of stuff. And it could be stuff that, it could be a shirt. In my case, sometimes I hang on to a piece of clothing too long. I have the same issues as everybody else. I think, well, gosh, maybe I'll fit into that again, or maybe that shirt will come back in style again. I loved it once. And so just being mindful about cleaning out and letting go. It could be old love letters. And maybe if you're in a new relationship, they may cause some energy or vibration in between that relationship. It brings to mind a client of mine who's married to a wonderful, wonderful person. However, his wife had died previously and still living in that house with all her stuff. Mm-hmm. And in this new relationship, it creates some energy shift because all of her stuff is still in the same environment as they're trying to create a new life. So as you think about the physicalness, see if it's helping, if it's keeping you stuck in the who you used to be versus who you are now.
Gotcha. That's great. That's great advice. Well, what about, as far as your space, what advice do you have about the physical space as far as being more of a peaceful environment, which actually fits into your message too? Are there things that we can do to actually create a more mindful and peaceful environment?
Well, there's a lot of stuff out about feng shui.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage people to, if it calls to them, to be looking at that, how they could be making sure things are more organized in a flowing manner, so it creates more openness in your life, mm-hmm. and more of a flow. Mm-hmm. Because life is about the flow of in, the flow of giving, and the flow of receiving. And we have so much stuff around us that blocks that. And it could be as simple as having greenery, mm-hmm. having some water, the different elements in your life, could be having some wood. Mm-hmm. And so as you're looking at the space, the feng shui, we're really going to, by no means am I a feng shui expert, I have to actually use them to help do my own stuff. Mm-hmm. But just continuing to be open to having a clearing. So a good idea if you like to hold on to stuff, and let's say you're having some blocked energy in your intimate relationship, maybe kind of clean out the stuff out of your bedroom, all but maybe the bed, mm-hmm. and maybe get some fresh sheets and maybe a new comforter, and just put all that stuff maybe in another room or in the garage, and just store it. You don't have to get rid of it, but just kind of clear that space and see if there's harmony that slips back into that relationship.
What about the clutter up here in the mind?
Oh, gosh, I sure have been working through that for many years. I call it the committee. And I actually heard that from one of my massage therapists years ago. Her name was Lori. And she talked about the committee in the head. The committee that says, you know what, your hair's not right, that color doesn't look good on you. Who do you think you are to be sitting with Janae talking about your book? What do you mean you have a book? Mm-hmm. And if people really knew you, they would think you're a fraud. All those things that go through people's heads. And so you have to start to see where you got those patterns. And what I've done in my own life is I start to look at when I have that stinking thinking come in, especially for me, who do you think you are? I start to go, okay, now is this really true? Mm-hmm. Is it really about that, or is it just you being scared and you being fearful? And it could be a baby being seen and being witnessed. And as a child from a very loud family, I just kind of played small. And so to sit here with you pushes me out of my comfort zone. Because I'd be much more comfortable watching a movie by myself. So there's that committee that you have to just start to address what holds you back. And I believe that healing starts in our heart. And if you and I and our listeners will start to see what binds their heart up and take the chain off their heart, they will start a new path of freedom and wellness. And at the same time, you start talking about the body's toxicity and the freer space. A lot of our listeners have constipation and diarrhea. If you look at that gut health, which is 70% immune system, which is super high in people that have cancer disease or diabetes, how can we take good care of our gut? And so in freeing your space, I like to talk about pooping and peeing, and I want to make sure that everybody's really listening to their body. And what is their body? Are you pooping every day? And is it, I call it, you pooping like a man, or you pooping like a girl, or you pooping like a rabbit? And you really want to be eliminating. And so in Free Your Space, it's also about eliminating the toxicities in your body.
How would you address to our group the baggage that comes along with body image and the clutter that comes along with that? So many of us are going through such a change, not just mentally, but this physical change. Do you have any thoughts on that, about how that relates to your heart that you talked about?
Well, I think it's acknowledging it. I think that it happens so fast. Next thing you know, you're on this other side, and maybe both your breasts are gone and your female organs are gone, and it's like, holy cow, what happened? And so if you're able to, through that process, have a good girlfriend, and just that you can confide in, but be mindful that it's important to bless and release. This is just a physical body, and we're really more than a physical body. But how can you also grieve the loss of your breasts?
I think that's a really good point. I think a lot of people forget to do that, and that it's okay to do that.
And it's okay to talk about it. It doesn't mean you're superficial.
That's right.
And I think that there's all that committee that says, oh, they're just body parts. Well, they're part of what makes you feminine, and makes some of our sensuality. So I think it's really important to grieve the loss.
Right. Well, how can everybody find you? What's your web address?
You can find me easily on Facebook at Wellness on a Shoestring, or at wellnessonshoestring.com.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Dr. Robin, again, it's Wellness on a Shoestring.